There is a movement within you that never stops, yet you rarely notice it. Right now, even as you watch this, notice your mind. Notice how it moves, from this moment to the next thought, from this word to tomorrow's worry, from presence to absence, again and again. You're not broken, you're human, but you're suffering from something the Buddha identified 2,500 years ago as the root of all human restlessness, the untrained mind that knows no peace. In our hyper-connected world, this ancient suffering has found new forms. The ping of notifications, the endless scroll, the mental tab that never closes. We've built a civilization that feeds on distraction, yet wonder why we feel so scattered, so hollow, so perpetually unsettled. There is another way. Today, we'll explore teachings from one of Buddhism's most respected scholars, Bhikkhu Bodhi, as presented in his profound work, The Buddha's Four Foundations of Mindfulness, not as philosophy to understand, but as medicine to take, as a path to walk from restlessness toward stillness, from fragmentation toward wholeness. The Buddha spoke of four foundations of mindfulness as the one-way path to the end of suffering, four domains that, together, encompass the entire field of human experience: body, feelings, mind, and phenomena themselves. But let's begin where you are right now, with the mind that won't be still. In Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation, the Buddha describes the third foundation, contemplation of mind, but not the mind as we usually think of it, not thoughts or ideas or memories, the mind as a stream of mental states, each one arising, each one passing away, like clouds across an empty sky. The Buddha identified 16 specific mind states, but for now, let's focus on just this: the mind with restlessness and the mind without restlessness, the scattered mind and the collected mind, the mind that jumps and the mind that rests. Right now, which mind do you have? Don't judge it, don't try to change it. Simply notice. This is what the Buddha called bare attention, seeing what is actually here, not what we wish were here. Your restless mind isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. Watch how it moves, like a monkey swinging from branch to branch, never resting, always seeking the next distraction. In ancient times, this restlessness sought food, shelter, safety. Today it seeks stimulation, validation, the next dopamine hit. But beneath this movement, something remains unmoved. Let's practice this together. Close your eyes, or soften your gaze. We're going to use the Buddha's own method, the practice he used on the night of his awakening: mindfulness of breathing. Find your breath at the nostrils, that subtle sensation where air meets flesh, cool air entering, warm air leaving. Don't control it. Don't perfect it. Simply rest your attention there. Notice. The breath breathes itself. You don't have to make it happen. Life is living you. And now, inevitably, the mind will move. A thought about dinner, a memory from yesterday, a sound outside. This isn't failure. This is the untrained mind doing what untrained minds do. When you notice the mind has wandered, and this may happen dozens of times in just a few minutes, simply return to the breath, gently, like guiding a child back to safety. Each return is not evidence of failure. Each return is a moment of awakening. You've caught the mind in the act of wandering. You've seen the restlessness directly, and you've chosen presence over distraction. This is revolutionary. In our culture of constant stimulation, the simple act of watching your breath is radical rebellion. You're choosing to be rather than to do, to rest rather than to achieve, to be present rather than to escape. Breathe for just one more minute. Notice how the restless mind begins to settle when it has something to rest upon, like disturbed water becoming clear when the stirring stops. Open your eyes. What you've just experienced is available to you every moment, not as a special technique reserved for meditation cushions, but as a way of being in your daily life, standing in line at the grocery store. Instead of reaching for your phone, rest in your breath, waiting for your coffee to brew. Instead of planning the day, notice the mind that plans, feeling overwhelmed at work. Instead of pushing harder, pause and return to this simple anchor. The breath is always here. The present moment is always available. Peace isn't something you achieve. It's something you remember. Modern neuroscience confirms what the Buddha taught. Regular mindfulness practice literally rewires the brain. The default mode, network, that chattering voice of mental commentary, becomes less active. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for awareness and emotional regulation, becomes stronger. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, becomes less reactive. But beyond the science, there's something more profound happening. You begin to see that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not even your restless mind. You are the awareness that observes it all. As Bhikkhu Bodhi writes, when we contemplate the mind, we begin to see mental states as merely mental states, not identified as I or mine. The anxious mind is just an anxious mind. The restless mind is just a restless mind. They arise. They pass away, like weather in the sky of consciousness, and gradually, something remarkable occurs. The mind that was once your master becomes your servant. The restlessness that once drove you begins to settle, not through force or suppression, but through understanding. This is what the Buddha called the beginning of wisdom. The path of mindfulness isn't about achieving some perfect state of eternal calm. It's about developing a completely different relationship with your experience. Instead of being tossed around by every mental wave, you learn to rest in the depths. Instead of identifying with every passing thought, you discover the space in which thoughts appear and disappear. You realize that beneath the restless surface, something has always been still. Think about this. What would your life look like if you weren't constantly driven by mental restlessness? How would you move through your days if your default state was presence rather than distraction? What would become possible if you could access peace not as an escape from life, but as the ground of being itself? These aren't philosophical questions. They're invitations to a direct experience that begins with this next breath. The Buddha's promise, preserved in Bhikkhu Bodhi's careful translation, remains as relevant today as it was 2,500 years ago. These four foundations of mindfulness lead in one direction only, toward the complete purification of beings, toward the end of sorrow and grief, toward the realization of the highest peace. That peace isn't somewhere else. It isn't in some future moment when life finally gets its act together. It's here, now, available in this breath, in this awareness, in this choice to be present rather than absent. The restless mind will keep moving. Thoughts will keep arising. The world will keep demanding your attention. But now you know the secret. You don't have to go along for every ride. You can choose where to place your attention. You can choose presence over distraction. You can choose peace over restlessness. This is your birthright. This is your nature. This is what you've been seeking in all those external distractions. You are not broken. You never were. You were simply looking for home in all the wrong places, but home was never a place. It was never a state to achieve. It was always this awareness, this breath, this present moment that needs nothing added to be complete. Take a moment now. Feel your breath. Notice the space around your thoughts. Rest in this awareness that needs nothing, seeks nothing, but is complete just as it is. In this stillness, you touch something timeless, something that was never born and will never die, something that is always here, waiting patiently for you to remember. This is where peace lives, not in the absence of thoughts, but in the awareness that observes them, not in the stopping of life, but in the deep acceptance of whatever arises. You came into this world with this peace. You will leave with it, and everything in between, every worry, every joy, every moment of restlessness is simply weather passing through the vast sky of your being, right here, right now, in this breath. If these words have touched something true in your heart, carry this feeling into your day. Let it be your secret companion. And perhaps, when you feel moved to do so, share this reminder with someone else who might need to remember that peace is not only possible, but our natural state. Consider staying with us on this journey of awakening. Each exploration deepens our understanding of what it means to be truly alive, truly present, truly free. Your presence here matters. Your awakening matters, because as you find peace within yourself, you become a source of peace for our troubled world. For now, simply rest in the silence that follows these words. Let the restless mind settle like snow falling on still water. Let this moment be exactly as it is, perfect in its imperfection, complete in its incompleteness. And remember, every time you return to your breath, every time you choose presence over distraction, you're not just transforming your own life, you are contributing to the healing of all beings everywhere who suffer from the restless mind. This is how the world changes. One breath at a time, one moment of presence at a time, one awakened heart at a time. Just notice, just breathe, just be.